Z to Z Podcast presents Review Z.
Good morning, good evening, or good day, and welcome to the Review Z Podcast, the game review of the Z to Z Podcast. If the game has achievements, then we try to cover it here. I'm your host, Damien, and thank you for listening. If you've listened to the Z to Z Podcast in the past, then you're familiar with our format. We bring you a separate weekly show covering just reviews of new and sometimes overlooked Xbox titles. And don't forget to check out the regular Z to Z Podcast while you're at it. That show's good too, just like this one, but we have more vitamin D. So, this week I am joined by Randy, Warren, and Freem. Randy and I will be traveling back to World War I in Verdun, while Warren and Freem will be doing something in We Are the Dwarves. And with that, hey there, Randy.
Hey.
So, traveling back in time, World War I. Isn't it exciting?
Well, let's just say I think there's a reason that the kind of realistic style World War I game has not really been done before.
Yeah. It kind of, I will, so for those that are not familiar, so actually, do you have the information to pull up on Verdun?
I will bring it up right now. But yeah, so it's a very kind of classic World War II shooter style game set in.
I thought it was World War I.
It is World War I, but that's the only kind of comparison I have for it. Is it looks like a Call of Duty 2 type game, but it's not World War II, it's World War I. So, and
I guess from history, they're kind of close together in terms of the years that.
Yeah, they kind of look similar. So the publisher is Black Mill Games, and it's developed by M2H. And it has an Xbox Live Store price, IC $20.49, but that's the Canada price. So I'm guessing it's $19.99 US.
Correct, $19.99 US, and released on March 8th, 2017. Now, is this a PC game as well? Like, because I'm wondering.
It looks like very much like a PC game. I'm not sure if it is. Let's see. Yes, it is. It's $24.99 on PC, actually.
Well, no, because when I was joining into matches, I was, again, there could have been that many users that have gone out and picked it up and were playing it from TA, but I think looking from the TA number of players, I was kind of wondering if it was across, like, on the online multiplayer, you were possibly playing between PC players.
No, I don't think you were playing with PC players. I think there's just enough people that are kind of interested in shooters on Xbox because I couldn't find a free-for-all game. I never saw another person in free-for-all, but I did get full games playing, what was it, the objective game mode. I think it's kind of like attack and defend, I think. The PC version looks a lot better than the Xbox version, actually. It's also seems to be very popular on PC.
Yeah, so I will say, actually just looking online, if you were playing, there's 4 online game types. And this game there's 4 online game modes and 1 quote-unquote offline single player. So right now, on Frontlines, which is literally squad-based trench warfare, just as exciting as it sounds, 120 players online. Rifle Deathmatch, there's 8. Attrition, 11. And Squad Defense, 4 players. So, and I think the thing for especially people that are completionists, the hard achievements, I guess very grindy, right? I mean, this is a ratio of, it's a 10,000 TA ratio, and it looks like make 5,000 headshots, and then there's also gain 250,000 co-op XP with the players.
And these are things that you're going to get naturally, but that assumes this has a very large pool of players, which on Xbox it really doesn't seem to. And given that it's pretty much multiplayer only, because we'll talk about the single player and the very small amount of single player, it's going to be tough. I mean, you're pretty much going to have a boosting group, because like you need to have, a lot of the stuff seems like you have to have a squad of people to play with. and I assume that you have to team up with them. I don't know if you get placed in a squad. I couldn't really tell when I was playing. So yeah, it's going to be a very, very tough completion unless you're looking to boost quite a bit, because it sounds like you can boost in free for all pretty easily. Whether or not you can get everything in there is the next question. But so yeah, the online multiplayer, I think, and I talked in our episode this week with Randall Thor too, and he really did not like this game. And it seems like we all kind of had the same experience online, that when you're first starting, you just can't do anything because everyone's got better guns than you, and then you just die.
Yeah, it was, I think I literally spawned, walked 2 feet, and that was it.
Yeah. And that in itself doesn't necessarily make it a bad game. Because I mean, if you jump into a game like Counter-Strike with a very high skill cap, having never played it before, it's going to take some time. But yeah, I don't know. It's just the deaths just didn't. I don't know. Maybe it's me. Not the. I don't know. It's tough because all of us had the same experience where we would just spawn and die. And I mean, you could try and be sneaky and sneak through the trenches and still just get killed from nowhere. And if you popped your head out of the trenches, well, you get killed from nowhere even faster. And if you try to, kind of sit back and hit someone, well, your guns are so inaccurate that you can't. I did get lucky, and I got a kill once from a long distance online. I suspect it was mostly luck based because I just got a shot in someone's general direction and managed to hit them.
Yeah, that was how, because when I first loaded up, it said the whole, when I went to the single player, because usually I'm a big fan of, okay, let's get single player, get control, get an idea of controls, right? And they made it sound very, very limited. You can only play this one mode. I'm like, okay, fine, online it is, right? So I picked the first online mode. And okay, great. I'm able to join. There we go. Good to go. So I get in, and as I said, I just stick my head up. Bam, you're dead. And that just is what kept happening. And so you get through this whole entire thing. Like, I went through this match, and I think I had 8 deaths, no kills, and it was just, okay, let's go play single player. And
single player is like super boring.
Oh, yeah.
Well, it's super easy. It's just like these dumb AI that really slowly run at you. And then
they don't even fire, so you can.
Yeah, they'll often just stand still and let you kill them. And then once in a while, one will just instantly kill you from who knows where.
Yeah, but I was able to get the melee kill achievement that way. You had to kill like 10 melee people.
Yeah, so I must have been really close to that, because I was thinking I was meleeing people, but because it was so slow, I just got in close and shot them a lot of the time. So I think that's why I didn't get that one. But yeah, it's single player is like, I don't even know why it's there kind of thing. Like, it just doesn't really add much. And I guess the thing with multiplayer is it would have been nice if we could have put, 10, 20 hours into it, but we don't have that much time every week for the game. So we had to kind of go with our more limited experience.
Yeah, but I think this, like, so from as a first person shooter goes, I mean, I think you hit kind of it early on. It reminds me a lot of Call of Duty 2, but if you go into Call of Duty and your complaint is, man, they make it feel like World War II is almost playing as accurately as in modern times, and it's not. It would be a lot more inaccurate, blah, blah, blah. Oh, then this is absolute your game, and I'm sure you want to do a realistic American Revolution shooter where you muzzle load stuff and you can shoot it point blank and maybe not kill a guy.
Yeah.
If you are sitting there and you complain about historical inaccuracies in Call of Duty 2, well then pick up Verdun. If on the
it's
other
slow
hand,
as molasses, just like World War I.
Yeah, like where if you're like, yes, I've just wanted to run around in trenches and just felt what it was like to. Yeah, then be our guest. Otherwise, this would have been going like, this must have been the most miserable I could only imagine. This is what makes me feel like war is hell. I mean, the graphics aren't bad.
No, it actually looks quite good. Given the price point and that it's an indie game, it actually looks really good. It's probably one of the best looking games we've done or we've talked about. But that being said, it's still super ugly because it's World War I. Everything's the same color. It's just trench color.
Yeah, it's very well. No. There are times where you could go when you're fighting the trenches above ground, which I guess that's turb
above above the trench color, and then there's in the trench color.
Yeah, exactly. It's like now everything's kind of one or a few shades of green,
a little bit green, and then just brown. It's back to brown. So I couldn't really recommend it unless you're really into first-person shooters, really into World War One, maybe. But it's pretty slow-paced. It's going to take some time to get into because it's not forgiving, that's for sure. And it's pretty much multiplayer only. There is. I was actually pleasantly surprised that there is actually seems to be a significant enough online community that you can jump right into a game whenever. So that's a plus for sure. Because I mean, you see a lot of these games too where they're designed as online only or pretty much online only, and then there's never the population to even start it. And then it just kind of dies because it doesn't have any people playing it. But this one definitely did, which is good. I just I remember the first time I played Gotham City Imposters on PC is that I'd be lucky to get a game with like 5 or 6 people in it. It was a really fun game, but you just couldn't play it because there's no one playing it. So, yeah, I mean, if you're into tough first-person shooters, maybe. But other than that, I can't. I didn't really enjoy playing it.
Yeah, I think
it just didn't feel that fun.
I think kind of a lot of it. Yeah, I feel bad because this is just not my kind of game. I mean, I like some first-person shooters, but it's very. This just. I mean, again, I want something a little more fast-paced, but that comes down to personal preference, right?
Yeah.
As I said, if you're really into more historical shooters, then you're going to sit there and probably say, hey, this one's better than a lot of the other ones out there. I really like that. You know, I don't want to give this a bad grade just because of personal preference, but yeah, in terms of just if you're casually out there looking for a first-person shooter, I mean, this one's going to be very... Yeah.
Yeah, and it's just I don't know. I don't feel like it did anything that I don't even know if I want to say that because it's tough on our segment too because this is a game that requires you to be kind of into competitive-ish first-person shooters, which I've been out of that loop for a long time. Yeah, because it's multiplayer. I mean, it's very multiplayer centric, and it's not casual. Like it's not casual centric like a game like Call of Duty. I mean, you can pick up Call of Duty having never played it and start getting kills straight away. So it's tough, but it's definitely not for everyone. I can definitely say that.
Yeah, I think it's just a buyer beware, right?
Yeah,
you
definitely.
Just know what you're getting into in this. If you're looking for a historical first-person shooter, you'll be good. If you're looking for something just quick, fast-paced, probably not
for you.
No.
Yep.
Cool.
And it has to be played online. I mean, it does have that single-player bit, but it's boring.
Yeah.
It's super, super boring. And it doesn't get any less boring either because I probably spent a good hour plus in that mode, the majority of that being on like one run, and it didn't really get harder. Like it's just kind of the same thing. They'd all just come in the trench and just stand there and die. So yeah, buyer beware. I think that's where we're going to leave it. I think that's the best call on this one.
Agreed.
With that, we will see you next week.
Thanks. All right, and now kick it over to you, Warren and Bream. All right, today's little subsection here of Review Z, I am joined by Planting, also known as Warren. How are you doing, sir?
Doing great tonight. How are you doing?
I'm fantastic. So last time we were together, we did the review segment for Zombie Vikings. And we are now presented with another game that uses a weird dichotomy of mythical characters in Space Dwarves. The game is called We Are the Dwarves by Whale Rock Games. This released on Xbox One February 24th of 2017. How much did this thing cost? $15. $14.99 is the current on price. And let's dive right in. Okay, so cards on the table. I have my tracker's saying I have 4 hours into it. It's longer than that. I think it hasn't synced up my last session, but maybe it is 4 hours, and it just feels a lot longer than 4 hours. And I currently have all but one achievement. There are only 10 achievements in this game, so I have 950 gamer score out of 1,000. And then 9 of the 10 achievements. Warren, where are you standing as far as achievement count and time played?
About the same as you. I'm 4 hours, 28 minutes in, according to TA. Probably a little past that from that repeated stealth section.
Yes.
I'm the same thing, 9 of 10 achievements. It's not bad grind until you get to that point, at least.
No, so let's lay out the premise of the game. Like I mentioned, you're space dwarves, which is strange, right? Dwarves typically are not spacefaring folk that we envision, but let's run with it all the same. You crash land on a strange planet, strange asteroid, strange world. It's kind of unclear as to what exactly you land on, but it is strange. Now, this will be one of the, I'm going to say first, but that's only because I don't know how many of these will be left, but it's one of the first positive things I want to say about this game is I really enjoyed the environmental aesthetics, the beauty. It as far as the flora, interesting landscape that you traversed, albeit confusing, it was interesting to see kind of these strange plants. Some of them are, carnivorous. Some of them were traps. But you could kind of see the workings of an ecosystem here. And I thought, as far as a setting, it was really cool. What did you think?
No, I agree. That is probably one of the better aspects of the game. And as far as the way the graphics looked, the actual gameplay graphics, I would just say, were much better than the cutscene graphics, which is kind of an anomaly with games.
It is a little strange, don't you think? Because, yeah, when you're playing through the game, it is smooth. The menus are tight. They're well put together, and even the character animations when doing the kind of day-to-day gameplay or whatever is smooth, and it looks great. And then there'll be these small little cutscenes, and I guess technically they're cinematic, but it's really a cutscene. And man, I don't know what team was working on that, but that needed some extra polish.
I mean, the Laffy Taffy beards are in my opinion, the thing that's keeping me going. When I get to a new cutscene, I just can't help but laugh. It's like the beard's attached to their face and attached to their suit, and it stretches in the weirdest way whenever they move their head. It's something to look forward to if for some reason you play this game.
It absolutely. And then on top of that, any of those instances where there then is dialogue. So these are voice-acted characters. I'll introduce the characters. We are presented with 3 dwarves. There is Folder, whatever his name is. He is the dwarf. He's the ranged dwarf. So he has a rifle, and he uses guns and cannons. Then there is Stormfist. I think that's his name. Or Smash Fist. That's his name. Smash Fist. He is the berserker. He wields 2 axes with fiery red beard. And then there is Shadow, and he is the stealth dwarf. Let me repeat that because
that's not typically the type of dwarven background we're going to see. A stealth dwarf. Yes, they indeed have a stealth dwarf. Okay, so you crash on this planet, and all three of these dwarves are separated. And so the goal of the game is to kind of to meet up, right? So you got to get this party together and figure out how you crash on this planet, why you crash on this planet, and I got to get off of it. And so you start off with Folder, or Fodder, or whatever his name is, and he is the very serious leadership type role, and you can tell that the voice acting is clearly a Scandinavian person who is trying to speak perfect English. Oh, Forcer, that's his name, Forcer. He just sounds off. Like the inflections on the wrong words, the enunciation is overly pronounced. I don't know. It's just weird to listen to him talk. And then you go to Smash Fist, who is better, but it's like a Scandinavian person trying to speak in English, doing a Scottish accent. So it's like, maybe just stick with what you're good at, because then, and what's weird, I don't know if you notice this too, when Smash Fist talks and the dialogue pops up, Forcer is word for word what the dialogue says, and Smash Fist is different. Like when they localized it, they thought instead of saying like, I must get the runestone, like it would make more sense to Americans to be like, gotta get me some runestone action or something. Like he got really like weird about it, and it was like
very formal-ish almost.
Right. Like the sentence was totally perfect as is, and then you went ahead and like jived it up a little bit. It's like, we don't need that. You're a space dwarf. Like, I don't know what you're trying to do here.
I would never. The accents didn't really strike me as what I would ever strike with a dwarf either. I mean, it's dwarves. I would want like this like gravelly, deep kind of. Even Scandinavian would have been great for an accent.
Absolutely.
So yeah, I don't know why they didn't just stick with their natural talents in this case. Yeah, you're dead on there.
Yeah, so that was strange. Okay, that being said, those are kind of nitpicky, and they don't necessarily take you out of the game. So let's talk about the actual gameplay. This. You start off, you control one dwarf at a time, so you're starting off with Forcer, and it's very much a tutorial as you learn and navigate these lands. And you started on easy, correct? There's easy, normal,
yes.
Hard. Also on easy, because the astute listener is going to look at the achievement list and say, really all I need to do is kill stuff. There is nothing on here that says anything about being difficult. So you know what? Let's just make my life easy and make things easy to kill. And that's the right way to go, because even on easy, you will get the crap beat out of you.
Lots.
Yes, absolutely lots. Not until later in the game. Okay, so you start off in the first chapter with Forcer, and life's pretty easy. You have a gun. The enemies are spongy, easy to kill. Boom, boom, boom. You just walk right through, no problems.
Here's a quick question for you, though. How many like little scenes in chapter 1 did it take you to figure out how to move the camera?
3.
Yeah, exactly. I'm trying to find where the exits are in some of these levels, and I'm like, wait a minute. I know it's got to be here. I've cleared everywhere else. How do I move the screen?
Yes.
It is the weirdest control to move the camera.
I would say the controls in general were all very difficult.
Well, okay, granted, yes. Because the aiming controls were wonky. The camera was weird.
Let's start off by even turning on the game. Okay, I'm holding my controller like a normal person, hands on analog sticks, and it's like not registering. I'm like, what the hell's going on? Oh no! To use the menus, you need the D-pad for some reason. The analog stick doesn't work. Okay, D-pad. Well, potentially there is a tutorial there. I mean, they do some tutorial things, but the text is so nearly impossible to read because it's micro. You have to get real close to your TV to even discern what the words are on the screen. And there's no, as far as I could tell, way to adjust the stretch on the screen. And so I was missing, at the bottom of the screen where you hit the A button where it says play. That was cut in half, and then on the top, that was cut off, and I lost some on the sides too. I couldn't see those things.
That's no good.
That was annoying. I wished I could, have adjusted screen size. But again, that's a fringe, minor, non-playable area. Not too worried about it. But as you progress through the game, I feel like this would have been better as a turn-based game. It is not a turn-based game. It is live. I mean, it is an action game, and so you play it as such. But
it can be turn-based, more or less.
Kind of.
Sort of.
That's why I think, because you have the mechanic, and you absolutely need to use it, is if you tap the left trigger, that will stop time, and you can plan out your attacks. You can assign, a series of things to do, like, I'm going to shoot this gun here, and then I'm going to turn and I'm going to shoot that there. And then you unfreeze time, and boom, boom, he executes both moves. So yes, it's kind of turn-based. The problem is like, it almost should just be totally turn-based, because when things get amped up, like, you're using the trigger, left trigger, to freeze time, but that's the only way to move the camera, is you got to hold left trigger to then rotate the camera around. And so half the time I'm like, oh, quick, got to turn the camera, but it registers that I just tap it instead of tap hold, because I'm just, I'm quick with the stick to turn the camera. So all of a sudden it's like I'm half pausing time, and then I unpause time, and dudes are killing me. Maybe there's a way to I can, outside of the game, remap my controller, but that wouldn't do anything for this game, because they're both assigned to the same button. I don't like that. That was a poor design decision.
Like some of the weapons, when you go to aim them to fire them, they'll, instead of like just pointing the direction your stick is pointing, it'll just spin in a circle, and you have to kind of pray that it ends in the direction you want. Oh my god.
Yeah, that was annoying. And
They definitely needed to play this a couple times with an actual controller instead of the keyboard that they probably had on their dev kit.
Agreed. And then when you can cycle through available targets by hitting up on the D-pad, but like you'd think the guy that's like literally in front of you would be kind of the default target, and so like you're hitting right trigger to like, attack that guy. He's right in front of you. Attack that guy. But you can't tell that the dude 10 miles away is highlighted, and so you have melee weapons, and you're like standing there like, oh, I can't reach him. He's way across the screen. Well, next to you, of course, is this dude just wailing on you because you didn't hit up on the D-pad to switch your targeting. It's like stuff like that. It's just the control. You're fighting the controls the entire game. It's just not intuitive, and it doesn't flow. It is very challenging to get it to work. I assume you ran into the same issues.
Yes. Oh yes. But enough perseverance, enough abuse of that pause feature, and you'll get through the levels. And just a quick point: don't worry about grinding out those kill achievements. They'll come naturally.
They absolutely will come naturally. You'll have no problem getting any of the achievements up until the very last achievement that you will typically get, and that is killing 4 witch doctors. Okay, so we've gone through. We did Forcer. He meets up with Smash Fist. You do a section of Smash Fist by himself, and then you get to the point where the 2 dwarves meet each other. And this is where things, I'm not going to say difficult, but they certainly started to get out of hand, because now you're controlling 2 characters, and if you're not effectively using the stop time feature, like, I typically just kind of wanted to force her to do everything. Like, hey, you got a gun. Just stay at range and just do your thing, because Smash Fist, until people get close, I don't even bother. And it wasn't until the end of that chapter, when you were fighting one of the boss, quote unquote, that I actually felt comfortable using the 2 guys at the same time. I don't know if you had a similar issue, but I would much rather just like use one of them and then have the other guy. I actually admit,
I pretty much always used Forcer. I rarely used Smash Fist. One quick point though: before the 2 guys joined up, there was this one weird level. I think they call it the anomaly
Oh my God,
level.
yes.
I just want to make a quick note about that. First of all, it doesn't fit in the game as far as I can tell. It's just this weird, all of a sudden you're in space levitating. That took me a little to get used to.
That was obnoxious.
Second of all, aiming yourself. You've got this bright jet in front of you, sort of, kind of off to the side, that you assume that you're going to use to aim yourself with. But since it's not really facing forwards, oh my God. And the gamma is so dark, even with like raising the gamma up, you really can't see the gun that you're shooting to propel yourself. And the momentum you've got from your previous like shot is maintained into your next one. So you almost have to always like, okay, shoot yourself, hit Y to stop, re-aim, shoot. Oh my God. You're going to love going through that level.
It is so obnoxious. Now, I will give them credit. It is creative. It is a creative level. You're right. It's a little strange. You're in a zero gravity environment, and so you're floating with no propulsion. And so the only way to propulse yourself is by shooting your gun in the opposite direction. And that propels your body, and then you can use your hard stop with this impulse device to stop your momentum. But so you're trying to traverse by shooting backwards, and then you have to quick spin to shoot bad guys who are in the way. It is challenging, difficult to control, and ultimately not fun. Like, it's a great concept if it was executed well. It is far from executed well. Thankfully, it is relatively short, and it's the only mission like that I've seen so far. The next worst mission is where you currently are stuck at, and of my, let's say, 4 hours of playtime, the mission that you're currently on occupied 90 minutes of that. So 60% of my game so far has been on a single level with the stealth dwarf. Okay. This is by far the worst aspect of this game. And this is the point where most people will quit. And you will quit at a point where you have 550 gamer score, because you typically don't see enough of the fishermen, the fish pirates, to get the last 2 or 3 achievements. You will have 5 by that point, but you won't have 20, you won't have 50. This is where they start to introduce them, but the stealth mechanics in this game, you start off, and it's like a traditional Metroid game where you don't have any powers, and you have a sliver of life, and you have one move where you can dodge, you can go from cover to cover in concealed. And then if you happen to sneak up on a guy, you can click the right stick, of which you only have a sliver of this ability, and do a backstab move. And that backstab is an instant kill, and it will replenish that little sliver of your hush ability. And that's the theory with which you progress through this little subsection here. The problem is the mechanics and AI and game are so woefully broken that this rarely works. And so there's even an icon above the guy, a little triangle that indicates, yes, instant kill time. And I'm about a 40% effectiveness rate on that when it actually will kill the guy in the first go. Because for whatever reason, the game's like, no, you just wanted to shoot him, right? You didn't actually want to instant kill him. And it's like, what the hell's wrong with you? Like, am I missing a button press here or what? Because this should not be happening. And then, of course, the second that you kill this guy, his crony's like, hey, did I hear something? I better go look into every single piece of cover possible and know I'm going to start with the one that you're in because, I just have a gut feeling. And then when you warp to the other one, that's the one I'm going to next. The AI just knows.
They can smell you, is what it is.
Oh, that's
and
why.
If you're ever in their range, they will follow you relentlessly, and they never give up unless you get in this perfect hidey hole coverage.
It is unbelievable how tenacious they are.
I don't understand. Yeah, somehow or other, you need to somehow stealth kill a couple people, and then just pull I don't know, MacGyver moves, or like, not MacGyver. You're not making stuff. I guess, okay, maybe like Hitman moves. You're like sitting and watching the guards until you can. Okay, this guy goes this way. This guy goes. Okay, now go in quick. Get this guy. Unfortunately, you can't drag their bodies.
Nope.
You can't do anything. You just gotta like know where all the pathing is. Get in, make your kill, get your clean route, and go.
So here's
and know that they're coming.
My suggestion to you, and this is how I did it, is you need to take guys like in sets of 3. So like, some of the guys you'll be able to kill, off and on, that won't have an issue. Now, the little dudes take 3 shots, so you need to know that. So you want to shoot them from behind. You take the 3 shots, and on your 3rd shot, immediately move because they're throwing a spear, and you can only take 1 spear before you die. So then you start kiting any of the other guys that are following and try to use the in-place cover like walls or things to pot shot, dodge, pot shot, dodge, pot shot. And hopefully, now granted, this is really difficult to do, which is why it took me an hour and a half straight on one small section that I, if played through once correctly, would have taken 7 minutes. This took me 90 because I died over 100 times. So I end up kiting all these guys, and here's the other beautiful part. If magically, because like you said, the AI is brilliant in this game. Brilliant from the standpoint, no, not that it works really well. Brilliant in the standpoint that they know your exact location at all times. That stealth is more of an, in quotation marks, stealth. Because your character avatar is smoked out, right? Like, he looks stealthy, but that's really just a cosmetic thing because literally everybody knows where you are at all times. So what I would do is I'd kill anytime I got a kill and that didn't alert anybody. You could see in the upper right corner there's a diamond, and that diamond indicates that you can do a quick save. And so you hit the back button and do a quick save, provided you didn't do something stupid like use all your hush ability or put yourself in a precarious position. But I would do a quick save, and so I would essentially like, oh, that was a good quick little spot there, okay, and I made it through without alerting anyone because no one has found the bodies that are just all over the field on their patrol. I can quick save it, great. Okay, now we need a new plan. Who am I killing next? And so the other thing that you need to know is that first section that you're in, you are not supposed to kill everybody in that one. There is a path that goes left, and there's a door. And so ultimately I killed 6 or 7 guys, got into the door, and then you get a new ability. That is the key, because after that, so that took me 90 minutes. Once you got that, there was a little more section where you still had your sliver of life, but very quickly from that point, you find a heal sphere. The heal sphere makes your life so much better because instead of one hit kill, you literally can take spear after spear after spear and just mow these dudes down like you have a machine gun with your crossbow.
Okay, so I just got to get through that area.
So that little small section, like I mean, my kids were watching and they're just like, I had just mentioned how frustrating this is and wanting to throw my controller and how I was ready to strangle everything. And like my kids are now learning terms like that is terrible game design, or why is the camera so awful, or that my daughter, my 6-year-old daughter is even like, what? How did that glitch so bad? Like, she knows it was messed up. Like, I got screwed out of that. There's no reason that should have happened. So no, Warren, after you get to the heal sphere and your upgraded ability is the power shot. And the power shot is where you hold it down, and this is kind of a cool mechanic. It's essentially you're holding down the shot and a diamond appears above your head. And there are 2 smaller diamonds on the side, and those 2 diamonds move to the middle into the bigger diamond. And once they cover the whole diamond, you hit A again, and that fires like a really strong arrow that will kill everything in one shot. Anything it hits. Now, because you have to charge it, you have to wait till the guys on patrol don't move. But once you get that, then killing those the fisherman pirates becomes really, really easy. And even the points after that, like, you can essentially wipe out the entire village and then not have to worry about stealth anymore. Because you still need to be a little judicious about it. But I just wiped out the whole village and was like, okay, now what do I need to find? Oh, there it is, over there. Okay, yep, and I need to do this, and then this, and this, and not have to worry about sneaking around at all. And that was beautiful. And so that's why I feel now that I'm past that point, like, the game is kind of starting to roll. And at some point, you do collect all 3 of your dwarves. And now that I have all 3 of my dwarves, my shadow character is all powered up, and he's got all his abilities and stuff. I have now become a walking war machine. And I literally don't even bother with stealth or tactics, and I just, like, one-off, just pot shot every single one of these dudes and just clean house. And
this is why you play on easy.
And this is why you play on easy, because then that next level, once Shadow is all powered up, there are fisherman pirates all over the place, and you will hit 50 fisherman pirates before you even see a shaman. So that's where I'm at right now. I think the shaman are in the next section. I have like 2 little sections to go and find the shaman. And then here's the thing, guys. This is probably my favorite part of the whole game. The kills are cumulative. And so you simply, once I find this shaman, I'm going to do a quick save in a bush right next to him. And then I'm going to murder that one. And then when he's dead, I'm going to load that save and murder him again. And I'm going to do that 4 times, and I will never play this game again because I will have the completion.
I guess one more little oddity about this game we should probably mention, because it's there. I'm not really sure the point of it, at least on easy, are upgrades. You gain... There's things that you're collecting while you're wandering around trying to accomplish your actual mission.
Yeah.
There's little blue squares, cubes.
They're like blobs almost.
That basically like heal your ability to like use abilities.
Yeah, your shield. They heal your armor. Yeah. They rebuild your armor.
Your armor, okay. And then there's these little... Are they the little white cubes?
Yeah, they're kind of like... Yeah.
I think they look kind of like...
Essentially.
That let you learn abilities for these dwarves. One of them pretty much has like medic style abilities, as in like they're working when his they heal the group when his force shields up. The other one has abilities that seem more like damaging. I've never really paid attention to what the stealth dwarf's abilities were. I've never really I keep dying in that same area, so I haven't really got him anywhere yet. But I'm like, do these even really work on? Like, do they really have any use? At least on easy, I'm not sure.
So they might, and so like right now, like so the stealth guy, I've found 2 of the upgrade nodes, and so I upgraded that power shot, so it's faster. I can launch it faster, and I upgraded his shadow move, where you go from cover to cover. So now I can do it 2 times in a row before it has to recharge, so you don't have to wait as long. And so I can just zip all over the field now. So that's helpful, but with how infrequent these come... Now, here's kind of the thing. I don't know how long this game is. So in Chapter 1, you had your 2 dwarves. Now I'm in Chapter 2. I have Shadow. I'm in 2-2. Let's see. 1 had 8 levels in it. And now I'm in 2-2. And so I think like I'm going to be done with the game, done with the achievements, by like 2-4 or 2-5. I don't know how long this game goes. And so, like, you can see the seeds of a really cool game here, but, like, it blows my mind, and please, Whale Rock Studios, don't do this, but why would you not, say, have an achievement for unlocking the entire upgrade tree? And, like, put enough of those nodes in. I'm just saying, like, that, like, they have systems in place that should be a thing. Or, like, hey, here's an achievement, reunite the dwarves, right? So once all 3 get together, that seems like an achievement. Or,
complete the story.
Right. Like, anything like that. Yeah, find your ship to figure out what the hell's going on.
I guess since it's being an Xbox One game, they can at least look at the achievement data and realize how many people give up somewhere in Chapter 2.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. So... all in all, I think, my standpoint, and this is a long-winded way of saying, us achievement hunters, it's TA's got it at a 5 to 6 hour completion. That's probably where it's going to be, only because this one section is so maddeningly difficult. Otherwise, it likely could be a 3 to 4 hour completion if you can get through the stealth part effectively. You will not, but if you could, that you could get it done in 3 to 4 hours. But I would not recommend playing the rest of the game. I would not, that there was so many pitfalls that this fell into from game design standpoint that it just it's not grabbing me, and I don't want to continue fighting the system, especially when all the achievements are earned. So ultimately, I'm going to say give it a pass and pick it up on a sale if you want gamer score. 1,000 gamer score, relatively easy, that you don't have to go out of your way to do, no missables, nothing like that, and everything works. But as far as an experience, I'm just not feeling it. Warren, what's your final take?
Yeah, this is definitely not a great game by any means. I mean, considering what you've got difficult controls. It's going to be a short play time. It's definitely not polished. And with the price being like $15, this isn't something you're really going to want to sink your teeth into unless you're really hard up for gamer score or really, really enjoy this kind of game. Find it on sale if you want to play it. Otherwise, yeah, there's definitely better stuff out there.
Totally agree. So that was it, guys. I'm hoping to post a completion of this here in the near future before I forget all the wonky controls. I feel like I'm actually kind of working with the system now. But it's too little too late, friends. I'm going to say, no thanks. Appreciate the gamer score, maybe for $5, but that's my threshold. Warren, last final thoughts. Anything else you want to add?
Other than the fact that, bizarre story. I don't understand how they get light down in these weird dwarven caverns.
Do you have any interest in seeing it to the end? Are you curious about what happens?
No,
me neither.
I am so lost now. I have been trying to get through the cutscenes because that's I owe it to the game at least to see what's going on, but I'm so confused half the time. I'm not really. It sounds like the guy's talking to like an AI in his suit sometimes. I don't really get the whole premise of this thing. So I think once I finish the achievements, I'm willingly going to put this one down.
Yep, there it is. So you play it for the gamer score. Leave it for someone else to tell you what the hell happens. YouTube the story if you care. So that'll do it for us. I've been Brandon. Warren, sign yourself out.
Oh, hey, I'm Warren.
It's been fun. I hope you guys enjoyed it. We will talk to you later. Have a good one.